Monday, Foxes. Mrs. Spillman here. It is my week for the weekly announcements, and we have a lot going on. This is a crazy, exciting week. It is track off week. So after Friday, we have a 2 weeks off of school, and we will come back November 7th. But let's see everything we have going on this week. All right. So first off, our word that we are going to continue with this week is self-control. And I'm going to tell you, this word is very important this week because there's going to be a lot of fun stuff going on in your classroom, but you're going to want to keep that self-control so that you make good choices and get to continue having all of those fun things. So make sure you keep those negative opinions to yourself and think before you do things this week. All right, it is our anti-bullying week. It is Spirit Week all week. Today you should be wearing a twin day. You should have a twin, a friend, or triplets or quadruplets, but have some friends that you are dressed alike. Tomorrow, Tuesday, will be Neon Day. On Wednesday, we have Crazy Hair Day. Thursday is Inside Out Day, and Friday is Costume Day. We are so excited for Costume Day. So make sure you are dressing every day to show your school spirit. All right, our weekly activity schedule, 1st through 5th grade, you will have horseshoes or flag football. And kindergarten, look for a new activity out there during recess. All right, live the creed goal. You needed to get 7 by Mr. Gong's giving you guys until October 19th. So most of you are almost there. I'm going to go over who already earned their golden tickets, but we have an opportunity here in a minute I'm going to share with you to make sure you get that last certificate. All right, so these are our current standings. If you are in the red, you already earned the golden ticket. If you are not, you need to work on getting there. Here are, as of 12 o'clock on Friday, here are the classes that had earned a golden ticket. Miss Downey, Mrs. Birnbaum, Mrs. Cecil, Mrs. Dutra, Mrs. Ellison, Mr. Downey, Mrs. Jejong, Mrs. Elvang, Mrs. Larios, Miss Harris, Mrs. Lohr, Mrs. Luna, Mr. Magana, Mrs. Newville, Mrs. Pastor, Mrs. Ray, Mrs. S. Smith, Mrs. S. Garcia, Mrs. Sanchez, Mrs. Seychow, Mrs. Van Cleve, and Mrs. Vu. Now, I went to visit Mr. Magana's class because they are going to be helping me out on Friday that I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I had them spin the wheel again to see for today, Monday, how many letters today is worth. So let's watch that video to see what they spun.
Oh, what's it gonna be? Drum roll, drum roll.
All right, guys, so you heard it from Mr. Magana's class. Monday today is a 24-letter day. Wow, make sure you tell your friends to make good choices because this might help a lot of your classes get there to the assembly on Wednesday. All right, well, a big shout out again to our cross-country team that continues to amaze us. Here are some pictures from Winton. They went to Winton this last week on Friday, and they are going to have practice Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday this week, and they will be back on Friday to go to Livingston Middle School and continue running. We have the best uniforms. So awesome. Thank you, Mr. Mike, and thank you, team, for working so hard and running so great. All right, I want to give a shout out and a thank you to my student council members who were able to come to the board meeting last Wednesday. You did a great job presenting to everyone, and Steve even made an appearance. So thank you, Steve, for coming along as well. All right, and again, I want to thank the Student Council for setting up our Fall Fest. I hope you had a great time. Here are some pictures from Fall Fest. I thought it was a blast. Everyone got a pumpkin, lots of games and things to do. So I'm very excited to continue this tradition next year. All right, this week is Parent-Teacher Conference Week. So this week on Monday today is our only regular day. The rest of the week you're getting out at 1:30. So make sure your parents have talked to your teacher about when their conference is. And so again, Monday is regular day. The rest of the week is going to be minimum days. You'll get out at 1:30 for 4 times this week. All right, there is no student council meeting this week on Thursday since we are tracking off, but we will resume right after break. After break, we will resume in November. All right, this week we have Flagpole Friday, and we are going to have a Farmdale teacher and staff costume contest. Mr. Magana's class is coming back to Flagpole because you know what? They brought the energy in the 5th grade. They were the top 5th grade class. They are coming back on Friday to help me cheer on all the teachers and staff with this costume contest. Make sure you wear your costume Friday, and we will see you at Flagpole. All right, we want to introduce a couple more awesome staff members. We have Miss Erica, who is an aide that works in 3rd grade with Miss Downey and Miss Bay's class. A fun fact about Erica is that she loves doing her makeup and loves to shop. And then we have Miss Mai. She's also an instructional aide that you can find working in Mrs. Newville's 2nd grade class and in the reading room. She loves pies, but loves pumpkin pie the most. All right, our positive offers referrals for this week. First off, we have Josie from Mrs. Gomez's class. She received a positive referral from her teacher because when there was a new student in class, she was a great role model and helped him complete his work on the first day. Great job, Josie. All right, Evan from Mrs. Wally's class showed willingness to help and clean up when there was a sub, and he stepped up to show he is a leader in class. And we have Nova, who showed great sportsmanship when he led exercises in PE and was a great example to all the other students. Great work, Nova. All right, Lavinia in Mrs. Gunn's class earned a positive referral from her substitute, Mr. Salas, when she demonstrated responsibility and kindness by letting the teacher know about a difficult situation a student was going through so the other student could get the help they needed. Great job, Lavinia. And we have Nicholas in Mrs. Cecil's 1st grade class, and he earned a positive referral from Miss Carlos because he saw a student who was upset and went over to them to find out what was wrong. He listened, gave the student advice, and comforted the student and made them smile. Great job, Nicholas. All right, we have some perfect attendance this week. Miss Smith's class had perfect attendance on the 11th, and Miss Newville's class had the 11th and the 12th. Great job, guys. All right, Mrs. Cecil and Mrs. Hoag's class had a catapult competition, and this team won. They demonstrated great teamwork, and their pumpkin went the furthest. Their prize was another pumpkin. All right, we had 4 Foxes on Times parties, and we have more coming next week. So Mrs. Vu's 2nd grade class earned a Foxes on Time celebration. We had a great time celebrating them. We also found out that they already have 2 letters towards their next certificate. We can't wait to visit them again. All right, Mrs. Ward's 4th grade class also earned Foxes on Time, and she challenged her class to earn another certificate so they can have another party soon. Great job, Mrs. Ward's class. All right, we also visited Mrs. Lowe's 5th grade class for their Foxes on Time party. Great job, Mrs. Lowe's class. And finally today, on Friday, we visited Mr. Magana's class. We had a great time celebrating with his spirited foxes, and they are pumped up and ready to lead our flagpole next week. All right, and I want to give a shout out to the 5th grade. What a great activity they had on Friday with their pumpkin seeds. It looked super fun. So great job, 5th grade, on your pumpkin seed activity. All right, our quote of the week comes to us from Babe Ruth. I thought we'd go sports this week because it's hard to beat a person who never gives up. And on Friday, Maximus and Cecily both won medals. This is their first time winning medals because they have not given up. And we are so amazed by the runners we have in our cross-country team. So don't give up. Keep going. All right, it is that time for our kindness ticket winners. We know that it's me doing it, so we'll do 5. Let's see who our winners are this week. I'm going to the bottom. I'm going to the very bottom, guys. All right, we have Victoria from Mrs. Ingram's class. Congratulations, Victoria. She was being kind. All right, we have Jose Angel from Mrs. Hillhouse's class for being responsible. Good job, Jose Angel. All right, let's see who we have. We have Michael from Mrs. Ward's class. Congratulations, Michael. We have Alexander from Miss Smith's class. Congratulations, he was being responsible and being kind. And then finally, our last one is Athena from Mrs. M. She's in Mrs. Johnson's class. She was being respectful. So Miss Athena won as well. So Athena, Alexander, Victoria, Jose Angel, and Michael, I will be around next week to get you your prizes. And that is all we have. We have a lot going on. It's going to be a busy week. It's going to go by fast, but let's make sure we make good choices. And then after the end of this video, I have all the birthdays through the 31st of October. So if you are an October birthday at the end of the month, make sure you watch. So let's get those foxes up. To be a fox, repeat in your mind. Be safe, be responsible, respectful, and kind. All right, have a great week. Bye.